Welcome back. This is All Angles on eNCA. Let's check in now with the eNCA Money Desk and Devan Murugan joining me now for an update. And Devan, I see that there was a bit of an error there in the calculation of the petrol price increase. I'm almost tempted not to make fun of the department for making this error in that, we all make mistakes. To err is human, as you and I know from our own experience. But my goodness, didn't they have enough time to know this and to go over this over a month?
I'm going to find out from the Energy Department in a second to what extent that error was made. Let's just quickly look at the figures before you. And previously, before the petrol price kicked in at midnight, it was 81 cents a litre of a hike. That's been revised now. And in inland, in Gauteng, you are paying 20 Rand 29 cents for a litre of petrol.
Still a lot.
Not 20 Rand 35. Still is a lot, but let's find out how this happened. So it still bites, but not as much as the department initially said it did. The department overstating the latest petrol price, it says, by 6 cents. Petrol now increases, as I said, by 75 cents a litre instead of the 81 cents for December. Now, Robert Marker is the Director of Fuel Pricing Mechanism at the department. He joins us now. Robert, thanks very much indeed for your time. How did the department make this error?
And good day to the viewers and listeners. What happened is every year in September we adjust the wages for the forecourt employees, and this year it was 5.7 cents a litre. So at the end of the year, like we did now, when you calculate the retail margin, you are supposed to then subtract that amount because it's already included when you adjusted in September. So what happened this time around is the colleagues, and when we're calculating, we theoretically done it in our mind, that is already subtracted. So we only realize now when we're updating, yesterday actually, when we're updating other documents, the benchmark service station matrix, where it gives the breakdown of the retail service station cost. That's where we picked up. So normally we'll have done the benchmark service station matrix at the same time we're doing the adjustment, so that when there's any error we can double cross. But unfortunately, this time around, we only finalized it yesterday. That's where we picked up the error.
So we are 6 cents cheaper than initially thought on petrol. Does this review only apply to petrol? What happens to the diesel and paraffin price? Is that affected as well?
No, as you can see on the erratum that was issued by the department, it's only on the petrol. The retail margin is applicable to petrol only. The others, they are fine and verified by the auditors.
Robert, 6 cents seems like a fraction when you look at it, but this can roll into the millions of rands when one considers the entire value chain, from the end motorists to the retail stations. Do we implement some sort of compensation here?
I'm not understanding you, but what I can explain to you, that's why the department acted swiftly to try and correct it today. So we have issued the erratum. We have instructed the oil companies, the retailer association, to also adjust their pump at the forecourt service station. That's all I can say, because we acted very swiftly to try and correct the error. Had we picked it up earlier, we could have corrected it earlier. The minute we picked it up, we corrected it. So compensation, I'm not sure. What is the compensation about?
Are you expecting some sort of backlash from people that made orders based on the price, for example, from retail stations and so forth?
Well, it's difficult to say. Well, we are fielding calls today, and if we receive any concern about that, then the department will have to respond. But unfortunately, what I can tell you now, there's no mechanism in the department that deals with compensation for the prices that were over or under.
Robert, the other burning issue, that's been in the making or in the public space for some time is that more than 50% of the fuel price is now made up mostly of levies, related taxes. I mean, the rest is the basic fuel price. That debate still continues. It still persists on whether or not we can reduce those levies. Where are we on that?
Yeah, let me also state to the viewers and listeners that when you compare South Africa with the rest of the world, in the continent and everywhere else, out of almost 200 countries, South Africa, in terms of fuel tax and levies, they are around 110, 115. So we are more or less in the middle, not very bad, not very good at all. But the reason why most countries collect levies on fuel is that it's the easiest way of collecting levies. Most countries collect from it because we collect it at source when the product gets into the country or leave the warehouses going to the market. So it's used by many countries to collect the revenue from there. In as far as your question about reducing and not reducing, it's difficult for me from Department of Mineral Resources to say because it's determined by Minister of Finance based on the budget for the country. They decide how much they need for the budget and they'll increase the levy by a particular amount and so on. So from where I'm sitting, it's difficult to say whether it can be reduced or not.
All right. Robert Marke, the Director of Fuel Pricing there at the Department of Energy. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
To us. Well, so there you have it. I mean, yes, a relief of 6 cents, but one wonders, how a blunder like that can take place.
Yeah.
And if it does happen again to us.
Well, let's hope it doesn't happen again. Devan Murugan from the eNCA Money Desk, thank you for that.